CF Moto has been doing pretty good with regards to their bigger displacement bikes, but nobody seems to be talking about their mini bikes. Let's change that.
First of all, I would like to thank Iron Supply Power Sports for allowing me to ride the CF Moto Poppy OSS and Carl for helping me out. But before we do anything else, let's take a better, closer look at this bike. This retro style mini bike has a 126cc engine, it's fuel injected, and it has 6-speed transmission. It also has an amazing gauge cluster with tachometer and everything included. Check out that under the light exhaust. It comes all the way through the back, and it's nothing like anything we've seen in the mini scene, at least here in the US. Oh man, I'm pretty excited about this. But we already saw it, so let's hear it out. It's a little throaty, I like it. This first ride is brought to you by viewers like you and my apparel company, ODC Decorations. They've done my merch, and they can do yours too. Just DM us at ODC_decor on Instagram and we'll take care of you. So the first time I did this loop, I used an old GoPro Hero 4, and I legitimately don't know what happened, but the footage was incredibly blown out. Audio was alright, but it was unusable. Alright, but let's pretend that I didn't just do this loop and take this bike for a spin. Man, oh man, this bike has a shift light. I don't know why I find that so amusing. So this loop is not that long. I was told to just go take a small loop around here, which will allow us to go over to the freeway, I guess the feeder, for a little bit and see how fast we can get this in a slow, I guess, top speed. I don't want to rev this too crazily. Alright, now that we have to slow down and stop, let's see how easy it is to find neutral in this bike. Not bad. Alright, so I am 6'1" and I have a 34-inch inseam, and as you can see, I can pretty much flat foot this bike. It is pretty easy to maneuver back and forth, but then again, it's a mini bike. And you can see here on the tachometer, it also has all the gears, the gear indicator. It's pretty smooth to go through. I'm a bit rusty, so any sounds that may not sound as smooth is not the bike, it's definitely me. Ooh, look at that. And you can press the blinker to cancel it. That's nice. Like, I know that's probably standard on some other bikes, but I'm used to the very cheap Amazon controls, or like the Ruckus controls, which are not this nice. Overall, I'm pretty good. I can hug the tank with my knees pretty well, pretty easily. I thought at first that fairing was going to get in the way, but it seems pretty good, and it's actually really comfortable. But since I'm riding a mini bike, obviously the biggest question is, how does it compare to the Grom? And I'll talk about it a little more at the end of the video, just so that we can compare the ABS version of the Grom to this bike. But since we're stopped here at the light, let's talk about some of the accessories that CF Moto does have for this. You do have the tank screen kit, which is Bluetooth control, and you can put designs, emojis, graphics, and what they say on the website is custom options. So I'm not sure, you'll probably connect to the CF Moto app and be able to do that with it. But yeah, here's a picture of what that looks like. What I do believe is that from the factory, the bike actually comes pre-wired, ready to go. The only thing you have to do is buy the aftermarket side panels for the tank, and you're good to go. They also offer the engine guards, as you can see here, and I mean, honestly, anybody that has ridden a bike knows that's one of the first things you need to do, because you're definitely going to lay the bike down. It's not a if, but more of a when. Okay, here it goes. Here's the video from the last run. You can see it was a bit blown out, but I did get it to 52 in that run. Like I said, I didn't really rev it too terribly much, just because it is a pretty brand new bike. The windshield kind of does help a little bit with the wind. It hits me since I'm pretty tall, like about mid helmet. Okay, so now that we're stopping here again, CF Moto also offers a USB connector. It has the ability to do a Type-C as well as a Type-A connection. And I tried to find it earlier, and going through the footage, I actually saw it here. And as you can see there, it has everything. And like I said on the website, it's also pre-wired. So you just buy the kit and wire it up and you're ready to go. I honestly don't know if there's any other company out there, like especially on a mini bike, that offers something like that. The US version of the Papio does seem to come with these nice bar and mirrors. It doesn't have like the big bunny ear ones. And I think you should be able to flip them so that they come under the handlebars instead of over. Although you may run into the tank that way, but it may actually clear the line at the top of the handlebars a bit better. One of the other things that I did find on the bike while I was going around it and filming it earlier was that it has an SAE cable already standard, at least this particular one, so that you can go home and actually do a trickle charger and you don't have to wire it yourself. That's one less thing you have to worry about. But at the end of the day, is this bike worth the $32.99 MSRP price tag? Let's go back over to the garage and compare it to the Grom.
So to try to keep things as similar as we can, we're going to be comparing the Papio SS to the Grom with the ABS, just because the Papio is not offered without ABS, and I feel like that's the fairest comparison we can do here. They both have a single-cylinder air-cooled engine. The Papio has a 126cc engine and the Grom has a 124cc engine. But even with the lower displacement, Honda gets to have a 9.7 horsepower motor versus the 9.4 that the Papio does. And that's also reflected in the torque. The Honda Grom has a max torque of 7.7 foot-pounds when compared with the Papio that has a 6.8. They're both fuel injected. The transmission on the Grom is a 5-speed now. On the Papio is a 6-speed. With regards to weight, the Papio does come heavier at 251 pounds versus the 227 pounds for the Grom. The tank sizes are a little bit different as well. You have a 1.8 gallon tank on the Papio SS, and then you have a 1.6 gallon tank on the Grom. One of the biggest issues that CF Moto will probably run into is the fact that the aftermarket scene for the Grom is insane. There are so many aftermarket mods that you can do for the Grom just because it has been out for so long. And obviously the CF Moto Papio SS is the first year that it's here in the US, but the looks, I mean, just look at it. When it comes to looks, I actually like the way the new Grom looks, but nothing compared to how the Papio SS looks. I don't know what it is about this retro style cafe racer neo bike that they're doing here, but it's tugging at my heartstrings. And if you're like me and you see on paper they're both very similar, you want something that's completely different that nobody's probably gonna have, the Papio is the way to go. At $32.99 MSRP versus the Grom's $37.99 MSRP, you do see a $500 difference, but there are some other features that the Papio comes with that the Grom may not have. So would I buy this bike? Honestly, yeah, if I had the money, I would definitely go with the Papio SS just because of the way it looks, and it feels pretty good when you ride it. One of the things that I do think would need to do is like a license plate relocator if you're gonna try to do any wheelies or anything like that on it, or just to clean up the look a bit. But the way it is, it's not terrible. Something else that I would try to do is try to see if I can get the overseas blinkers for the front of the fender, just because I don't like them sticking out as much as they do now, and see if we can incorporate something similar in the rear. So if you remove that license plate holder that you currently have on there, you'll have to relocate not only the license plate, but the blinkers as well. So that's something that you have to deal with, but I'm sure somebody will come up with something. I think you can see here, you can probably mount a license plate holder where the buddy pegs are mounted, but at the end of the day, it's gonna depend on whether or not you'll be willing to ride it like that, because it will be a little hidden and you may get some issues with the cops. But at the end of the day, would you get one? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this bike, and if you have any questions. Until next time, guys, keep causing a ruckus. Later.